My goal this year is to make 400 pieces of long form content, video content, mostly for YouTube, and another 600 or so short form video pieces. That's not counting social media photos and little things like stories and whatnot. But a lot of people ask, like, how do I come up with content ideas? And that's what this video is about. How's it going, friends? My name is Jesse Lynch. I run 5 real estate teams around the United States. And on this channel and in general, I'm trying to help agents accomplish their wildest dreams. But really, I'm only interested in working with people who want to do things differently. So if that's you, come hang out for a while, subscribe to the channel, and if it's not, keep it moving. And on this video, we're talking how do you come up with ideas for content, whether it's video content, blog content, just small posts throughout the day. How do you come up with that content? How do you come up with the idea in the first place? And I think the number one, the most important thing that you have to be considering is who are you talking to? And we actually have on this channel a whole other video on this exact topic of who are you talking to, how to design your clientele, and ultimately how to create what's called a customer avatar. And coming up with an avatar, it's all about knowing a customer, knowing a singular customer intimately, and knowing what their fears are, what they're concerned about, what frustrates them, what their motivation is, why they want to do what they want to do. And once you know that, it can help inform so many decisions that you make, especially as it pertains to content. Now, a lot of how I think you should probably be thinking about content is that it doesn't all have to be a huge deal. It doesn't all have to be, your most incredible work ever. In the repeatable sense, it can actually be quite simple. It can be something as simple as hanging a sign, as something as simple as a showing. At the very foundation of the simplest parts of the content, I think of it as a business card that you can send somebody every day. You could send 10 a day because it would be in the form of a story on social media. And I think of it as just a business card that says, hey, just a reminder, Jesse Lynch does real estate. I think Gary Vee actually talks a lot about the idea of document, don't create. And I do think creating is good, but I do think people can get too caught up in the idea of creating. And if you just, at the very least, document the process, document that you're out there doing the thing that you want people to hire you for, real estate. But then if they need somebody to help them with real estate, at least they're thinking about you. And then one other resource that I'm a really big fan of as a way to sort of come up with video concepts, video titling is really what it comes down to. The first one is called Keywords Everywhere. Basically, that's searching Google for how many times are certain keywords being searched. And you can also do key phrases. So how do I blank? What does blank mean? Whatever you can think of that relates to real estate. And then TubeBuddy is a really valuable resource that I use for YouTube. There's all sorts of videos on the internet about it. It's awesome. But within that, there's a keyword explorer that I basically am using before any video that I shoot. I make sure that there's a keyword that goes along with it that will rank decently well. So Keywords Everywhere, TubeBuddy, and other SEO optimization options. I know there's one called vidIQ, and there's going to be other things. I mean, you could also just go to Google and type in Minnesota real estate and see if it autofills with something that is interesting to you. And one thing that I think is extremely important to try to focus on, or it's been really, really helpful for me, is what I consider refillable content. Refillable ideas, to me, just means one idea that you can duplicate for multiple settings. One thing that has been the absolute bread and butter of my business is what I call virtual tours. Virtual tours of neighborhoods. We're very often just walking around a neighborhood like this, talking about it, but we have done, at this point, hundreds. We've probably done 300 to 400 of these virtual tours. And the beautiful thing about them is that it's one idea, it's one concept that we've been able to duplicate over and over and over again. I think a lot of people try to reinvent the wheel with every single post they make. And in my opinion, you are just asking to run out of content if that's the route you're gonna take. And in that refillable content, we have the same structure for pretty much every video. We do change it up if a neighborhood calls for maybe a little bit more information or has something specific about it that we think is worth covering. But for the most part, we can have intro, hook, about section, pros and cons, outro. And by the way, if you're interested in basically using our system, you can start an expansion team with us. And it's basically, we do the heavy lifting, you shoot some videos, and we make it as easy as possible on you, and you can get as many videos done as you can pretty much pull off. And again, this has been such a wildly valuable, process, wildly valuable systems that we've had in place. And they've been responsible more or less for about $75 million in transaction volume in the last 4 years. So if you're interested in that, jesselynch.co. If not, whatever. Hopefully you can take on some of these for yourself. And then one sort of final thought on the refillable content idea is make sure that it's proper refillable, that you're not just doing the same video over and over again, and that there's value in the repeatability of it. And one final little note is I think a lot of people try to be a little too cheesy with it, a little too cheeky. I think it's smart to not make them episode and don't number them, because if you can't sustain them, then it looks like you just stopped doing something that you said you were gonna do. So you can try ideas and they can live on a channel or live on a platform, and you don't have to look inconsistent if you stop doing it. It was just an idea that you were doing for a while. And then honestly, when all else fails, just R&D it, which is a fancy way of saying rip off and duplicate, with a couple caveats. First of all, please, I beg of you, try to put your own interesting spin on it. Try to make it fit your brand and try to make it fit your personality. And also try to provide anything new at all with the content you're making. Don't just purely rip it off. But the truth is, as a real estate agent, you probably are followed by and follow a lot of other real estate agents. But there's a really good chance that the people who follow you who aren't, they only follow one real estate agent. So even if you're making videos that you've seen before, right? Really similar content, same ideas that have already seen somebody else do, there's a really good chance that there's somebody out there who wants the information that they have done, but they don't follow them. So you can be that source of information. Again, it better fit your brand, better fit everything else that you're doing, and it better work for your avatar. Otherwise, you're just screaming into the abyss. There are a lot of real estate agents out there all over the country, all over the world, making content at a very, very high level. And I say, follow them, pay attention to what they're doing, and try to reinterpret what they're doing for yourself. I think imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. It's something that I see happening with what I'm making, and I don't really care at all. Although there is a point at which rip off and duplicate becomes truly just ripping off, where we literally had people stealing the footage that we make. So that's not what I mean. I mean, rip off the concept, just the essence of the concept, and then make it your own. And I make a lot of videos on this channel. I have all these other channels that you could look at for inspiration, and I'm happy to be that, for anybody at all. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.